Star, man. Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all the sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
Well, here we are. The rebellion has begun. Again. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe. Of course, with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey, Doug, how you doing this week?
Doing pretty good, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We got new Star Wars.
Yes. We've been anticipating this for a while.
Always a good day when
Yes.
you get new Star Wars. But here we are. We're starting the rebellion again.
Yeah, like
I mean, this is what you're going to get, though, right? Like,
yeah.
there's going to be starts everywhere.
Yes. That's if I sound hesitant, that's what I'm hesitant about. It's like it's it's the rebellion in its the most infancy it can be in. You're just seeing the little sparks here so far. So
Yeah, it's kind of funny. The reason why I decided to come in like that is like, oh, there's going to be some people that are going to roll their eyes at like, oh, here we go.
right.
Here's another couple of guys that are going to bitch about how they're starting it again from a different, like, no, this is from a different point in the galaxy.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
this is not rewriting how the rebellion starts.
No.
This is how this portion
Yeah.
of the rebellion starts. Remember, Star Wars Rebels made this very clear to us. There were different factions
Yes.
all over the place. And the whole goal was to get them together. And they even said it in episode 4. The Rebel Alliance.
Absolutely.
In order for there to be an alliance, there has to be more than one.
Different factions from here and there.
Yep. That was the coalescence of the rebellions. Okay.
Right.
So we're not starting again. We're not changing how it started. We're just telling it from a different part of the galaxy.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
But oh, okay.
but before we get into that,
Yeah.
I just want to talk about a couple of news items I read this week relating to Andor.
Okay.
First up, second season. All right. The second season of Andor is, according to Tony Gilroy, who was talking with The Wrap, he says Andor will shoot from November 2022 through to August. I love how that's written. 2023.
Wow.
That's a long shoot.
That's a freaking long shoot.
That's
It's like 9 months.
that's longer than some movies.
It's longer than a lot of movies.
Right? Not Star Wars in the Disney era though. Like
No, well, yeah. But
the only one that came under that mark was Ryan Johnson. So
yeah. Yeah, that is kind of crazy. I mean,
but he also says post-production will last around a year.
whoa, okay. So what you're telling me is we're not going to see season 2 of this show until 2024.
Yeah, and late 2024 at that.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, that's wild.
Now, okay, I guess, so we already know, they've come out and told us that, season 2 is going to be 4 3-episode arcs, each going over a year in Cassian's life leading up to Scarif. So,
You're talking a lot of location changes.
Yeah, a lot of different stuff going on. It's not like they're going to be shooting primarily at this one location, probably.
Right, and with that, you're probably talking a lot of casting changes.
Yes.
Like the people around him are going to change.
So you know what? Thinking about it, they might actually have a lot of breaks inside those 9 months. You know, might be a couple months of shooting for these 3 episodes, and take a couple weeks off. You know, a couple months shooting for these 3 episodes, that kind of thing. That would make more sense.
Well, let's break this down. You're talking. So it's 12 episodes. You said 3 episode arcs that'll cover 1 year?
Right. There's going to be 4 3-episode arcs.
4 3-episode arcs. So you're talking, essentially, they're shooting 4 mini movies.
Yeah. I mean, if the episode lengths are going to be anything comparable to what we've seen already, not so
Right,
many. Average movie, you know, hour and a half.
Yeah.
So each arc will be kind of like a movie, yeah.
So I guess when you break it down that way, I guess this ain't too bad.
It's not. It's really, when you think about it. But it just sounds odd to hear, yeah, we're going to be shooting for this long period of time. And, okay. Man.
You know, I'll say this too. Him, like, saying this right now, like, oh yeah, by the way, like, you're watching this right now, but you're not going to get the rest of it for, like, almost 2 years.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, right around 2 years. Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not going to get the rest of it for 2 years. One, that kind of speaks to a little bit of confidence about how, like, you're going to want to see it.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting you know now. Savor it a little bit, because it's going to be a minute.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be one of those shows. I got a feeling that we're all going to, you know, we're going to all have our rewatch of it, you know, judging from what I've seen so far. And
I think we're going to need it.
Yeah, that's true.
And we'll get into this when we get into talking about these first 3 episodes, but I feel like we're going to need time to digest this. I think there's going to be a lot of little things that we're going to be picking up with rewatches.
Oh, sure.
So
Totally.
all right. So on to the next arc. So
Okay.
Diego Luna says that this series is going to be the last time he plays Cassian Andor.
Okay.
It's kind of like, well, I kind of expected that, but like hearing it, it was like, oh,
Yeah. It almost
Like,
comes across as like, yeah, I'm done with this, but yeah.
it definitely, like, when you listen to what he has to say, it doesn't come across that way.
Right.
It's not like he's like, oh, I'm done with this character. He says, for me, this is it. It's a beautiful journey now that I have 24 episodes, 24 shorter films to tell the story of where Cassian comes from and how he got to be the man we met in Rogue One. Now, I will like to comment on, he says, now that I have 24 episodes.
Yeah. Well, he will
You
have.
will have.
Yeah.
You will have. But I was like, wait. When I first read it, I hadn't read the second one, like it's going to start shooting here.
Right?
I'm like, wait, are you done?
Exactly.
So he goes on to say, it does have a beginning and an end. Therefore, I can understand and I can enjoy the ride and kind of picture the aim we have. I think that's needed. Otherwise, you're always working to get somewhere else. I don't think that way. All those people and coaches that tell people, oh, picture yourself in 10 years. Where do you want to be? Project that and work for that. That's nonsense. Worry about what you're doing today. Do it the best way you can. Enjoy the ride. Make sure you give the most and you give everything you have. And something cool will happen if you do that. And if not, the journey was worth it. So it's about now, the moment. That's some pretty inspirational shit right there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
I read that and I'm like, wow.
Sounds like somebody who's kind of enjoying life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's deep, man. Props to you.
Well, to be perfectly honest about it, it sounds like Yoda
Yeah.
talking to Luke, you know. Never your mind
focused on where he was.
What
he was doing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, really, It's good. And you know what? I'll say that. It does come through in his acting that he kind of looks at it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Because like, one thing you got to give Diego Luna, he acts with a lot of passion.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of passion. So, yeah, I thought that was cool. And it like I said, he says he's done after this, but he is going for it.
Well, that's good.
He's not phoning this in. That's the takeaway here.
Right.
This is not oh, I'm done with it after this. So what?
I just got to get through this next year. Yeah.
No, what he says right here is, I'm doing this. I want to kick some ass.
Right.
So, cool. So they asked him if he would come back for a prequel. And I forgot to mention this, but this was with EW. That's important to point out.
Yeah.
He was asked if he would come back for a prequel. He says, no, impossible. It would have to be someone else, man. I'm not getting any younger, so it definitely have to be someone else. Keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
Because Mark Hamill never got that memo.
Right. I'm going to say, have you seen what they've been doing with these shows?
Oh, it's wild.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's old enough to be like not looking like the guy he played in Rogue One.
Right.
They have to go back from that.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah.
They did that in this show.
Yeah.
Granted, it was a hologram, but that was him. They used him for that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So, yeah, he's not coming back. Like I said, not surprising. Kind of thought that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that this is going to round out Cassian's story, you know?
But like I said, when you hear it said out loud, it's like, oh, man.
Right.
I was digging this.
Yeah.
But, hell, I mean, we still got 21 or 31 more episodes, right? Or no,
21.
21.
Yeah, 21. Wishful thinking there, Joe.
Yeah, I did my math wrong. I was never good at the mathing. Yeah, so 21 more episodes still. Still a lot of Cassian. I mean, we could get to the end of this and be like, yeah, he did his job.
Right.
They don't have to do anymore.
I got a feeling that's how we're going to feel about it, too. I mean, you know, they know what they're working with. You know, they've got an endpoint, and they can work right up to that. So yeah, I mean, so with that, I mean, we're going to go right into talking about episodes 1 through 3 now. So if you haven't watched them, go watch them. Come back. Yeah, do that. Because this is no holds barred. Nothing's off the table. We are talking about everything. Right. But reason why I wanted to talk about this, you know, right before we started talking about the episodes is they are kind of covering his youth as well. Yes. So far. Yes. And like I mentioned, we saw that hologram in the second episode. I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. So we saw that hologram, which showed him de-aged a little bit to be kind of in the middle of the kid that we're seeing and the adult that we're seeing. Right. So I'm like, I feel like they're going to be covering a little bit of everything along the way here. And there's not going to be a ton of gaps when they're done. Maybe they hang that up with going back from here on out, but I doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it too. I think we're going to be getting consecutive storylines of Cassian and, for quite some time here. We've got enough. Like if they cut this off at this point. Yeah, we got enough for the baseline. We got enough. We understand. Yep. But I do believe we're going to get some more, the flashback thing they're doing now, which it's cool. It's working to tell this story,
It's actually working really great.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of explaining the characters that are around him.
Right.
Kind of explains what he's looking for in the beginning here.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of getting pieces to why he is where he is. So they did enough of that, like you said, to stop.
Right.
I do think it's going to become less frequent.
Right. I
But
think it's going to have
still
to.
going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's going to have to become less frequent. We haven't even seen Mon Mothma yet, right? So there's a whole another part of this story that, we have to get into still. But,
Right.
I think there's still more of that, backstory, whatever, the flashbacks to tell. And I gotta say, I just want to make mention of this because this was watching it. I took note that, Cassian on his homeworld as a boy, they're speaking a native language that they didn't subtitle. Right? So you can't understand anything anybody's saying, but you know what's going on. That was done very craftfully, in my opinion. That was really cool.
Yes. It did throw me a little bit because I'm like listening to him, and then I'm like looking at the bottom, and like looking up, looking at the bottom, like, what are they saying?
Yeah, you want to know, right? But then when you just sit back and watch it, you understand the general idea of what's going on.
Yeah, like, oh, this is bad. Like, that's bad.
Right. Yes.
Like even before that, like you got the concern out of his, I believe it's his sister there, right?
Yeah, totally.
The concern out of her. You got that, that came through.
Sure.
But also her, like, why can't I be involved? So I think that's going to be something.
So, yeah, like that. Why can't I be involved? Or, I'm worried about you, don't go, or whatever that was, make it up for yourself. It doesn't really matter. But you get the idea that she's like concerned for him leaving, and I don't know. You're on a planet like that, or in a civilization like that, and you see a ship crash. Of course, you're going to go investigate, right? I mean, that's kind of what you got to do there,
So, some questions I have about, like, I'm just going to stick to the things going on his home planet in his youth.
Okay.
And go right to really the end of that whole sequence.
Okay.
Where he's inside this ship and he's breaking stuff, and you hear them say a Republic frigate has arrived. They keep referring to the Republic.
Well, that's when it would be.
Now, is this the Republic after kind of the Jedi fall, or before?
Oh, I think it's before.
Okay. And they're referring to how she makes mention of how all his people, they're going to pay for this. She's not
Right.
leaving him to die.
Right.
This is the Republic.
Yeah. Well, I think it's pretty well established that depending on what angle you're coming at it from, if you're more of the leaning separatist viewpoint, you might feel that way.
Okay. I didn't consider that these characters that took him on may be separatist leaning or just freelance, right?
Right. I mean, these, they might have like a a DJ point of view of things, right? Don't join. Don't pick a side.
Yeah, but it just seems so like this is what's going to happen. Like that's going to get them eliminated.
Well, you never know. It might. I don't know. I don't know the circumstances in which they refer. You know what I mean? But
yeah, because I was considering Cassian's age, right?
Yep.
And the events that are taking place in this show, I believe they said there are about 5 BBY.
Yes.
So that's all your main events.
Right.
5 years before the Battle of Yavin.
Which, okay, let me just throw this out there. I loved the fact they said 5 BBY.
I think they abandoned that junk they were going to try to do.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's that whole whatever timeline they tried to restructure and
BSI and ASI, right?
I guess
before Starkiller incident and after Starkiller incident.
Yeah, I don't understand why that would be the new anchor point.
It was all branding.
Yeah, I guess.
Like we're Disney, we're here, we got it now.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what matters.
But the BBY and ABY thing, that is something that Star Wars fans have been using for decades. So, I mean,
not only that, but it's like dead smack in the middle, so you can kind of figure it out from there.
But it popped up on the screen, and I knew exactly what they were talking about. So, yeah.
Right. Like, yeah, seeing that, I was like, good.
Yes, me too. I appreciated that. I just wanted to say that, since you brought up the BBY.
Oh, yeah. If I would have saw the, BSI, I'd have rolled my eyes.
You know what? I'd had to go online and look up what the heck that meant and be like, oh, yeah, that dumb thing. Gotcha. Seriously.
Oh, I'd have known, but I would have rolled my eyes audibly.
Right.
Audibly.
Right.
You'd have been able to hear my eyes roll. Exactly. It'd probably also come with the...
Yes, exactly. Just like Ray at the beginning of episode 9.
So they abandoned that.
Yes, which is good.
This is a good thing.
Yes.
It's a good thing.
Though those little title card things that they had there were very familiar due to Rogue One. So,
oh yeah,
that was like, it was nice. It was like, oh, okay, here we are. This is, gotcha. I know where we're at, what we're doing.
Consistency there.
Yes.
It was jarring, right? The first time we saw it in Rogue One.
Yes.
Like, oh, here's a little title card that says where you're at. I'm like, why? What are we doing?
Right.
And then, like, as the movie went on, I was like, I don't care. Yeah,
exactly. It worked.
This is fantastic.
Yep.
So, yeah, I love the consistency there. You're dealing with that same kind of, and this has got that same feel, right?
Right.
Maybe a little more adult than Rogue One, even.
Yeah. Yes.
That's probably the only thing that kind of like jarred me a little bit watching this. I'm like, ooh, this feels like Star Wars if we were gonna do a sci-fi drama.
That's exactly what it is.
But like in the modern day context of that, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'll say this, like, if I had one complaint, it was like, kind of like how do I word this? I guess I'll just say it. Kind of like the sexual situations, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, man, this is pushing it.
Yep.
I don't think they necessarily crossed the threshold, but they're pushing it.
Right.
Because, George Lucas always said, and I feel like we've always agreed, Star Wars, you should watch it and really feel like, yeah, it's for kids, right?
Right.
Your target audience is kids. It just happens to be lucky that adults love it too.
Yeah, totally.
So, but it's a very, I'd say, it's targeted at kids. It's a very mature version of entertainment for kids, but it still carries that kids in mind first kind of attitude, right?
Right.
So those moments were a little bit like, ooh, yeah, you're pushing this a little bit.
Yeah. I do agree. I don't think they crossed that line, though. I think they walked right up to it.
They crossed it, but they walked right up to the edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, they couldn't have gone any farther. Like,
exactly. I mean, this is definitely a show that if you took out, any of the references to, it just took it out of a galaxy far, far away, placed it on Earth, and, whatever, 200 years in the future, it would work well like that as well.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The names would be different and everything, but,
Hell, even if you set this on Earth, this is a like crime drama or
yeah,
something like that. It's got that kind of tone.
Exactly. And to be honest about it, it really kind of makes me more excited to see what we're gonna see coming up here with Mon Mothma and the Senate and all that kind of stuff, because you're gonna have those political machinations going on that are, for as much as everyone hated that stuff in the prequels originally, I always kind of liked it.
I really want to hear kind of the reactions to all this, because the other thing I'd like to make mention of is one thing this show has done so far. This is a dialogue heavy show.
Oh yeah, totally.
This is very dialogue driven. It has not had a ton of action yet. There's some,
and what was there was good.
Oh, it's good. Everything's been good so far. Like,
right.
As far as like the way they shot it, but it's very dialogue heavy. It's very story driven.
Right.
They are telling this character story. It's really crazy to put a character name in the title and then tell their story. It's really mind blowing.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny.
Hey, that's my one gripe about The Mandalorian.
Yes, well, I think we're going to finally start getting some Mandalorian season 3. How's that?
Oh, yeah, I saw that trailer. I think that's where we're going. And like I said, I didn't hate what they did.
Right.
I haven't hated any of the Disney Plus Star Wars. It's been fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, it's really been the place to consume Star Wars in the Disney era.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, with no movies on the horizon, this is it. So,
well, yeah, yeah, that's kind of funny. Yeah, which,
yeah, I guess we could just, go ahead.
A little left turn for a second. A little detour.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm gonna trigger myself.
Yeah, don't do that.
So did you hear about Rogue One or not Rogue Squadron?
Yeah, done and done.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
No,
not looking good. It's pulled from the schedule.
Pulled from the schedule. Yep, off all of the future release materials. Yeah. Yep. So
I mean, at this point, they ought to just start like blurring this stuff out, right? Like leave it on the board, but just like leave it blurred. Like
right.
It was there.
Right.
It's gone now. So we can see the casualties along the way.
Yeah, exactly. We should just have a single red line through all of the things that didn't come to be. I guess that's part of the problem with being so public with, who you hire to do what and, this and that, it's like,
I mean, I think that's really the problem with trying to announce your next 30 projects.
Yeah, totally.
You know, like you're trying to get everyone excited. You have these big events and things like that. So you try to bring stuff to the table, but they're announcing stuff that they just inked. And in all honesty, I would guess that a lot of Hollywood projects that get greenlit end up getting axed
Oh yeah,
before they even get rolling. Like they get greenlit and it's like, yeah, this ain't working out.
exactly.
I'm sure this happens a lot, but the problem is that they put it out there because they want that content, right? They want that presentation.
They want to generate the buzz.
Yep. And it does look bad.
Right.
It does look bad when you do this, but I mean, if this is what we want as Star Wars fans and getting these announcements and this, convention content, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
So we got to take the good with the bad here.
Yeah.
Right?
Where's the Lando show? Just saying.
Oh, man, that's.
You know what I mean? That's another one.
I think the Lando show's dead.
Do you? Because I'm not sure of that yet, but they're not in a hurry to do it. That's for sure.
Well, that's for sure. But all right, detour over.
Yep.
Back to Andor. It was just funny timing there.
Yes, it was.
Said it, and I was like, "Oh, did you see?"
Right.
It was really going to be a next week thing, but all right. So back to Andor. Yeah, I love the direction it's heading though. I like this character focused, dialogue driven. They're telling a good story,
Right.
and now with that being said, I understand why they did 3 episodes here for the initial release.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because with that being the mode of delivery, a lot of dialogue,
Right.
things like that. You would have felt kind of unfulfilled after 1 episode of this show, and the hate would have been pouring in.
Right.
And I think, like, even if I would have watched 1 show, I would have thought that was like, okay, come on. Look, this is 24 episodes telling a character story. Yeah, they're just going to talk sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to happen. Not everything needs to be, tons of blaster fire and lightsabers. And no, sometimes characters just have dialogue that drives that story.
I will say, I did like Luthen's stick that just kind of like retracted back into its handle. That was, but it wasn't a lightsaber. It was just like a stick or something.
Yeah, that was the coolest walking stick I've ever seen.
Right.
Like, I'm done with the difficult terrain.
Right. Off the busy streets, so I don't need this to knock over anybody who tries to attack me or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that was cool.
Yep.
Oh, you want to talk about props? There was one prop in this show that really threw me.
Oh yeah?
Yep. And I will say I may have did a mini eye roll.
Uh-oh.
So when they were in the command center for this security force,
Yeah. Oh no.
and there was one character eating
Yes.
blue noodles out of a
His
definite just painted Chinese food container.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Right.
Like they got Chinese takeout in Star Wars.
Yeah. Yes, they do. What I will say I like about this though, right? What we have here is this goes right back to Tarkin, episode 4, talking about, how you keep all systems in line. Fear this battle station, right? But
The regional governors.
the regional, right, exactly. The regional governors and all that. It's you have the Imperial forces, the Imperial Army, which doesn't necessarily have to be on every single little planet, but you're going to have somebody, a puppet in charge with his own crew, enforcing things for the Empire on these planets. And that's what we're seeing here. And with those, enforcers and their crew, what you're going to see is a little bit less discipline than you would see out of Imperials. And I think eating at your station like that or whatever is a perfect example,
Oh yeah, that would never fly in the Empire.
Exactly.
But yeah, this is what, a corporate security force?
Yes.
So yeah. It's probably how it goes there.
Yep.
Things aren't as busy,
Exactly right. But this guy, the head honcho of the security force, talked about how he had to go give a report, to the whoever it was, the Imperial attaché or whatever. And it's like, it all falls right in line with how a setup like that would be, and it's like, I love how they drew from what we know already, because that's a clear reference right back to episode 4 and what they were talking about. So
yeah, so talking about that, he had to go give this report.
Yep.
He wanted this guy to just cover this up like it was an accident.
Exactly. Yeah.
They, look, you're going to draw too much attention. They were in a brothel. We shouldn't have.
Right.
Drinking this, which we shouldn't have.
Right.
Like, we don't need to draw attention to this. This is going to get the Empire literally all over us.
Yes.
And what's this guy do?
Goes
and botches that all to hell.
Exactly.
I had the impression when we got a little character rundown, about this guy, that he had at least some competence.
Right.
Man, we were wrong.
Oh, it was
this
bad.
guy is a fool.
Yep.
And I saw where it was going, right? He gives this speech to the troops, as you will, right?
Yeah.
And he just can't.
Right.
He can't talk to the group.
Exactly. He's no Jyn Erso.
And everyone's looking like, this is an officer?
Right. Yeah, it was pretty clear that he's trying to make a name for himself in all the wrong ways. In this situation, you got to play to the bureaucracy, not.
He's definitely reaching above his pay grade. That's for sure.
For sure. Yes.
And he's definitely got a position above his, deserved pay grade.
Right.
Yep. Sounds pretty corporate to me.
Yep.
Oh, but yeah, it's just a lot of that, right? Like, all right. Highlights for you. Like, I've been kind of.
Well,
I know we're jumping all over the place, but that's our style.
Yeah,
so.
It is. Highlights. I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of soaking the whole thing in, we're learning a lot, we're establishing where Cassian's at this point in time, actually at 2 points in time, but, I'm just kind of taking it all in right now. We're kind of in that establishment phase. Like I said,
Okay, let me ask you this.
Okay.
So our 2 introductions to Cassian so far, Rogue One and this series.
Right.
This dude just flat out commits murder.
Well, yes. I would say In Rogue One, he commits murder. In this one, it was manslaughter, and then murder to cover up the manslaughter. So yeah,
Right.
that's so. I honestly don't think he wanted to kill anybody. Hence the tying up the what's his name? Is that Caustic or whatever? When he gets the drop on him from behind.
Is that his name?
I think it's Sergeant Caustic, right? Isn't that it? I'm looking at IMDb. The problem is all these actors, none of them look like what they did on the show. I
guess we should have saw how he was going to be by that name.
Right. But so I think Cassian's still at a point where if he can avoid killing somebody, he's gonna right now, you know? Not that he won't do it, but
wow.
If he can avoid it, he will.
That's crazy. You said no one looks like they do on the show, and then I saw this picture. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. That's the guy, right? Yes. Pretty sure.
Is it? So
I don't know, maybe not.
This guy shows up in episode 2 and 3. No, it's not. It's not him.
Okay.
I
don't see him there then.
I think it's Caustic, the other guy, the guy that was kind of Scottish accent kind of deal.
I don't know. But
the only reason I say that is that guy doesn't show up till episode 2. Pretty sure the guy we're looking for showed up in episode 1. I could be wrong.
Oh, no, this is the guy.
This is the guy?
Yeah. Yeah, I clicked on him. Got a different picture of him in Andor. It's him. So, at least I think it's okay. Maybe not. Maybe they showed a picture of the guy we were talking about, the character, when I clicked on him. But then now there's all kinds of other pictures.
So I'm pretty sure that guy is the guy I'm thinking of. He's the guy that could give the rousing speech, not the doofus who can't.
Right.
Wow, this is going well.
Yeah. So, I think we've lost track of what we were actually talking about here.
Oh, we definitely did.
Yeah. So
off the rails. We're off the rails.
I know. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm taking everything in. I am just absorbing everything. I feel like it's a really well done drama that you might see, you know, major network drama, blah, 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 whatever. But could be in Star Wars. Doesn't necessarily have to be in Star Wars. It could be, you know, when Tony Gilroy was talking about, you don't have to be a Star Wars fan to like this. I see what he's talking about already, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely see that. Yeah, probably pretty sad. I'm still trying to find out who this dude is. Anywho, Lost Cause.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's you know, I made the comment that it could be any kind of dramatic sci-fi right now, right?
Yeah, totally.
It just so happens to just be doing a really good job of portraying that it is in the Star Wars universe.
Right.
Other than that, like you could totally separate yourself from that too. Not even consider that it's in the Star Wars universe.
Right. Exactly. But this, you know what? This goes back to, in a lot of ways, this goes back to what George did with Star Wars. You know, he's telling a grander story. You know, it's the hero's journey and all that. You know, everything we've known and talked about for years. And this right here, they're telling a story which is a play on a more epic tale we all know a little something about, right? That's or know a little something about, and and could imagine, and enjoy this fiction about it, is you have tyrannical empire, right? Using corporations to keep the general populace down, right? And how are we going to resist? That is also a storyline that has been told in many different ways over and over. And I don't want to come across like this is, it's being done again, whatever. No, because I think it's great, but it is something that we can all relate to in some form or fashion here.
Oh yeah. I mean, absolutely. Like
it might not have the grand scale of like the hero's journey, right? A giant epic like that, but it is a thing that, a lot of different stories are told on,
Yeah, this is like the hero's journey, but he had to get there in a dirtier, grittier way.
Right? Yes. He doesn't have the force to rely on.
No, I guess this is building on this is really building up Cassian's sacrifice in the end.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of selfish.
Well, selfish?
A little bit. He doesn't really care about the collateral damage.
Well, I would agree in a manner that would say I believe he feels the ends will justify the means. Yeah.
Agreed. But I don't think he's even considering collateral damage along the way.
Okay.
I kind of get that feeling.
Huh. See, from this, I feel like he's not quite there yet. He's not quite to that,
No, I think he's building to that right now.
By any means necessary type of guy that we saw at the beginning of Rogue One.
Right.
I think he is getting there. I feel like we're seeing a Cassian that, his whole life has been kind of a scraping by, and he's been kind of beat down, the whole time. So,
right.
I feel like when he ends up working with the Rebel Alliance, he knows that he's doing this not for his own benefit, but for the benefit of everyone in the galaxy. And I'm sure he knows he'll probably never get to reap the rewards for all the work that he's putting in. That sort of thing. I mean, I'm sure there's some hope there. Like, hopefully I'm not going to die on Scarif, but, he does.
I don't feel like we're going to see a development that puts him into the mode that he's willing to sacrifice himself.
Oh, I think that all happens in Rogue One.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that whole conclusion, that whole mindset where he gets there, that's all in Rogue One. Yeah.
I think we're seeing the building of a character that is hoping to take down the Empire. Like, that's his goal.
Yeah. And one day.
But I feel like he wants to take down the Empire, but he wants to be standing on a pile of skulls when he's done.
Right. Well,
even though he refers to Saw Gerrera as a extremist.
Yeah, but he could imagine himself sipping on a bottle of nog on the beaches of Scarif instead of being incinerated on them. It's when all's said and done, right? That's probably what he's shooting for, but doesn't wind up being that way.
Right. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely seeing a self-preservation mode.
Sure, totally.
Like right in the beginning, right? He gets back and he's laying out like what everybody needs to say. This is where I was.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We've all been there, right? I mean, just imagine being a teenager,
Tell you
with
what,
your
I wish I
friends.
had a buddy that played off it that well, though.
Oh, that's for sure.
Man, my friends sucked at covering, man.
Oh, that was great.
I could lay down a story and they're just going to screw it up.
Exactly. Because they're not really listening. Yeah. Oh, so true.
You know, my friends were like when you're watching South Park and they start a talent agency and Cartman's like, oh yeah, I'm going to take a fake call, you know, to kind of sell it. And he's like, hello, Abraham Lincoln.
Yep.
That's my friends.
Yes.
It's like, dude, what are you, it's seriously? Now, Cassie and his friends are like, you know, you insulted my choice of beverage. And
Right.
like, he even comes up with like, this is how your face is jacked up.
Right.
Because I decided I wanted to punch you in the face.
Right. I helped you back into your chair.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's getting there right now because he wants to punch him in the face.
Exactly.
But at least he's creative. And if he burns that memory in, it's going to be like, yeah, I feel good. I punched him in the face real good last night.
Right. So, speaking of these other characters, prior to recording, you actually mentioned something about them to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, this is just a minor thing. Like,
Yeah, totally. But I mean, it's worth saying, I think.
I felt like a lot of the background characters just felt a little, I think I used the word clunky.
Right.
I kind of regret the word clunky, but yet I can't come up with a descriptor that describes it. So let's just call it light clunky.
Okay. I mean, I get what you're saying. I think they did well enough. They did fine,
They did fine. But you get to a moment where you got Diego Luna and what's his first name?
Stellan?
Skarsgård. Yeah,
Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah. You got those two together, and it just goes to another level.
Yes.
Like, the acting and the chemistry between these two is like, okay, we just leveled up.
Right. Yeah.
And it went from, like, I'm watching a TV show to I'm watching a movie.
Yep.
So, like I said, clunky is not fair. And I shouldn't even say from watching a TV show to watching a movie. From watching a very good TV show
Yes.
to watching a movie.
Right.
So, yeah, there was a little bit of that for me, especially when we got to that final scene, which was genius out of them, as that was the promo scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they mixed that up pretty good, didn't they?
That they did. So
Like, it started progressing. I'm like, that's not the way it happened.
I know.
That was some clever editing.
Yep. With some extra dialogue we didn't hear before. Yeah.
Right.
But so the one character whose name was bugging me, Tim, don't got to worry about him anymore. It's just
And you know what? Honestly, it was probably him mostly.
that was bugging you
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate to bag on one.
No, but I think I understand, because I don't think it was necessarily just like an acting thing. I think it was the character and the way the character was written to some degree too, because it's that, you could tell there's jealousy of Cassian there, but Cassian's trying to get the heck out of Dodge. It's like, if the guy just gives him some time, he'll be gone. He won't have to worry about Cassian, but he's got to stick his nose in it,
Mm-hmm.
So that sort of thing.
What was the other character? Bix, right? Was that her
Bix?
name?
Yeah. Bix. Yeah.
So, like, a lot of her scenes, I was like, okay, I would put that up there with what we were talking about, like when she was looking to communicate.
Right.
And she goes into the shop, I'm looking for this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on this rack in the back. Like,
Right.
okay. And then she goes and climbs up this thing and it's communication. I was like, okay, that was really good.
Yes.
That was really good. So yeah, I guess it's just, you said his name was Tim?
Yeah. It had an extra M
Oh,
in the subtitles, so it's Timm. Yeah.
yeah, they just didn't care about this dude. They just this is where it all fell apart, right? Like,
Right. Well, it's okay. We're gonna kill him.
Star Wars, Tim.
Right. I did like the Cassian's other buddies maneuver though. In the
with
junkyard, tethering the shuttle. Yeah. That was good.
That was good.
Brasso, I think is his name. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, you knew. I was like,
The more we talk about this, yeah, it was just him.
oops.
It was just him.
But yeah, I don't know. I liked all that kind of stuff. I mean, what
Like even his drunk was like over the top, right?
Right.
Like he does a like you're definitely fake stumbling to that thing.
Oh yes, yeah, I see what you're talking about there. Yep,
yeah,
yep.
Man, I hate to bag on the dude, but
Right.
it's clunky.
But again, overall, I'm letting myself get absorbed into it. I'm digging it.
Oh, it's really great. Another moment I really loved was when Cassian was walking through the street and one of his guys there stop him like, I want my deposit back.
Yeah.
And then you got the big alien behind him.
Yeah.
And that whole interaction where he's like, oh, you're going to let him tell you what to do?
Yeah.
He's like, you just told me to stand here. Oh, good job.
Yeah. Cassian takes off. Hey, good seeing you.
So that is one of those moments. And Tony Gilroy came out, and I'm pretty sure it was Tony Gilroy, came out and said that there's not going to be any fan service moments in
right.
this, right?
Right.
He like laid it out there.
Yes.
This is not a thing we're doing.
Right.
But at the same time, that was kind of one of those moments. Because that was the kind of comic relief that defines Star Wars.
Okay. So that right there was about all the comic relief you got.
It really was.
Overall, this show has been a very serious toned show. So
It really was. But that was a moment that really kind of said, okay, I know where I'm at.
Right.
And it seems small and insignificant. I mean, really, it's in the grand scheme of things, it's an insignificant moment. But at the same time, that's a moment where like, okay, yeah, this is Star Wars. That's a Star Wars type moment.
But that moment also, you know what that reminds me of? Is the opening scene to Rogue One. Cassian's got that, half smile and a little bit of jovialness to him, hey, everything's gonna be all right, da, 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 da. And as soon as he gets around the corner, he's like straight faced, as soon as troopers are coming, wham, Yep. That's true to form for Cassian. He's gonna play up whatever he's got to play up in order to make his next move or get to where he's got to go, get the job done.
Oh, I agree. But Rogue One, like, it had a ton of moments where, like, and like K2SO was your.
That's the thing. It was K2SO, not Cassian.
Right.
So.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. It's like K2SO when he gave her a blaster, right? Like let her keep it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you let her keep it?
Never let me have a blaster.
Yeah. And then the whole like, you want to know the odds that she uses it on you?
No.
It's very high.
Well, they're high. Yeah, very high.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, those are your Star Wars comedic relief, right?
Yes.
And that moment with that big alien, that's one of those moments.
Heck yeah.
So, yes, it's not fan service like, oh, you see this in the background. Well, I'll say this. He says that. But then Colonel Bad Commander.
Oh. Huh?
The dude that can't lead.
Oh, right. Gotcha. Okay.
Like he busts into a room and there's Jawas and then he shoots just blankly.
I don't think those were Jawas.
Oh, they weren't Jawas?
No. I think those were the same creatures that ran by Cassian as he was making his way through the alleys. And when they were running away from like where Cassian knew they lived, he knew right where to go through the back door.
Okay. Well, they really sounded, looked, and ran like Jawas.
Gotcha.
And I chuckled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can't say that was the only comic relief, because that was pretty comic reliefy.
Right. But that was in the part there where he makes entry into that domicile, right? You can feel the apprehension he's got, right? They're setting up for this ambush, yet he's nervous as all get out. He catches something out of the corner of his eye and he blasts it, it's like, and they take off running. But so in a sense funny, yes, but you feel that nervous tension out of this guy too. So, all that kind of works together.
Oh yeah, those definitely aren't Jawas. Yeah, I went and looked.
Gotcha.
But they decided, like, we're going to make them look as close to Jawas as we can.
Right.
Yeah.
It all happened so fast.
Man, I'll say this, though. I freeze framed it, and that blaster bolt looks like it was totally going to hit that guy.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Like, he let him. So he's not a terrible shot. He did lead the target. Like,
nice. Oh boy.
What?
Nothing.
Yeah, off the rails again.
Yes.
But yeah, so don't know. Like I said, it was dialogue heavy, so it's really hard to hone in on particular moments. There's a lot of lead up. This is building for what we're gonna get.
Right.
So not a whole lot of like, I shouldn't say substance, because there's plenty of substance. But as far as like groundbreaking, we got to talk about this meaty stuff, that it's not there. This was building. Right.
Again, I think we're gonna get deeper into the weeds when we see a lot more of this political stuff going on with the Senate, and see how Mon Mothma is actually turning the screws behind the scenes, in the Senate. I mean, I got a feeling she's going to be a lot of the reason why Palpatine's just going to say, you know what, I'm done with this Senate thing,
Right.
And we're just going to, by episode 4, the Emperor has dissolved the Senate, so,
right.
She's going to be
we're 3 episodes in.
Right.
And we have not seen the Empire yet.
Exactly.
The closest we've seen to the Empire is we saw, the Imperial cog there on that box, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That is the lone Empire appearance in this show so far.
Right.
Which, that's cool.
It is cool. I mean, all of our stories that we've gotten have been from the point of view of, like, the main players in everything that's gone down in the galaxy. Now we're starting to see some of the everyman story. So kind of digging that. It's a good thing.
Yeah, and you're getting to see how the Empire could kind of maintain control.
Absolutely.
And then you're also getting an insight into why it all went wrong.
Yeah. I mean, clearly, whenever any bureaucracy gets big enough, that's when things start to powers get abused, things you don't want your superiors knowing about. That information just doesn't make its way up the chain. That kind of stuff happening, and it's happening
you
all
can't
over.
Overly centralize it, right? Like,
right.
You can't let the main power try to control all of it, because you need your subsidiaries.
Absolutely.
Without them, you're not going to maintain control.
Right.
You just can't. Even if they're, like I used this word already, doofuses like this. Eventually, it would work out. Eventually. Because even if let's put it this way. Even if a rebellion were to be successful in this little group, right?
Right.
And it stays to this little group. The rebellion is reaching out against this. The powers that take over would more than likely at some point be absorbed into the empire as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I guess you're the ones that wanted to be in control. I guess you're the ones we talk to now.
Sure. Exactly.
The empire maintains control that way, because now those people are like, oh, cool, I get to be in power.
Right. Yes. Which, yeah. All too often, that's how power shifts happen, and it's not good for anybody.
Yeah, you let the power shift happen, but it's still, the power shift just kind of gets absorbed back into the system.
Right. The Empire's not going to care if it's this faction or this faction in charge.
Correct.
Because we're in charge. It's like, we don't care who's telling us, who's keeping control of the little people down there in that system. Just so long as they're abiding by our rules. That's yeah.
But I think we're going to find that was their fatal mistake.
Right. Exactly.
No, that's who we wanted in power. Now we got to step in. It's like, now we got to step in here. Now we got to step in there. We got to step.
Sure.
Just get rid of all that. We're in total control now.
Yep.
Oh crap! Now the bottom's falling out.
Absolutely. Dissolve the Senate, right? Everything becomes more centralized. No. Well, maybe all these different systems didn't like that. So yeah.
Right. It's too hard to rule from far away.
That's right.
Too hard to rule from far away. All right. Anything else, Doug? Anything else stand out?
Not really. All I can say is I can't wait for next week. I can't wait to see some of the, Senate stuff with Mom Mothma. I gotta say I'm really excited for that part of it. Hopefully it's a lot of what I was talking about. All the stuff that so many people disliked about the prequels, I really got into. So
right,
it worked for me. So I just got to say I'm anticipating that stuff, and I am looking forward to it. Looking forward to see how Luthen plays into that side of things, because he seems to be some sort of a major player. He's the field agent for somebody, I would think, maybe Mon Mothma, but when she wants something done out in a system somewhere far, far away, he's the guy to head out and do it. Maybe.
I have a feeling that's not the case.
Okay.
I have a feeling he is going to be the opposite Saw Gerrera. So he's one of those that's leading a good charge to get something started.
Okay.
But he's a little less crazy.
Right. To me, it just seems like he might have connections, That's all.
Oh, he's definitely gonna have connections.
So-
I think he's definitely gonna have connections to Mon Mothma, things like that.
I'm thinking,
but I don't think he's working for anybody.
well, not for, but with. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because everyone's going to have their role to play in this thing. We know that Mon Mothma's in the Senate, right?
Mhm.
So he's kind of like a field agent. I'm looking forward to seeing how all that kind of stuff plays out and the different roles that people play to actually bring this thing together. Because it takes a team. Clearly.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. I just can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how we're about to slow down but speed up. Because we're going to slow down in episode release.
Oh,
We're
right.
going to be getting one a week.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that we're speeding up story-wise.
Yeah, probably so.
We're going to see more action. We're going to see more, all that good stuff. But I think this was well done. You get that dialogue, that character building. It's cool to see.
Yeah, totally.
All right. If you have anything to add, you can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media, @thewarsandmore on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think we've about covered it.
Right. We'll talk next week.